Part 1 for the notes on area and perimeter of rectangles and squares. We'll start off with some simple problems and then do a little bit tougher problems. So your objective, you'll be able to calculate both perimeter and area of rectangles and squares given the side lengths and or the length of a diagonal. So let's take a look at a few definitions here. Area is the number of square units that cover the surface of a two-dimensional figure. So you can see I've covered this rectangle with some red squares here. The area is the inside of it. How many squares fit inside of it? Square inches or square feet, square centimeters. Okay, it's the inside of the figure. The perimeter is the distance in units around the two-dimensional figure, around the outside. So I've got a heavy red line showing you, it's the length from here to here, all the way around it. We're going to add up all these sides, how long they are in this case. We'll see a fancy formula, a little fancier one for rectangle and squares in a little bit. So our first example, let's see, we're just going to look at the formulas, okay? For a rectangle, the area and perimeter formulas. In a rectangle, a lot of time they call the two different dimensions length and width. It doesn't matter which one you call the length and which one you call the width, but one side is the length and maybe the right or the left side, and the up or down, the bottom or the top could be called the width. An area is found by taking the length times the width, LW, which means length times the width, and you get the area. The perimeter is the distance around, and you can see, if you add up all these sides, you got a length plus a width plus another length plus another width. And so an easy way of writing it is the perimeter equals 2 times the lengths, because there's 2 lengths, and 2 times the width, because there's 2 widths. Now a square, a lot of times, they call the length of the side S. In a square, as you remember, all the sides are the same. So it's like S and S and S and S. So area is similar. You're going to multiply these two sides, but they're the same. So it's S times S, or S to the second power, S squared. Which S, again, is the length of a side. The perimeter, of course, you can see if we add them all up, they're all S's. So there's 4 S's, or 4 times the length of a side, 4S. So we'll be using these formulas to do some easy and a little more difficult problems. Our first big example here is this simple little rectangle. We use those formulas. First of all, we can see that the length, doesn't matter what you call, I think I called the top one the length, is 5 centimeters, and the width is 4 centimeters. If you reverse those, it's no big deal. Your area and perimeter will still come out the same. So area, we saw, was length times the width, or 5 centimeters times 4 centimeters. So the 5 times 4, we get 20, and you're also multiplying, since this is multiplication, you're multiplying the units. Centimeters times centimeters is centimeters to the second power, or squares, centimeters. Area is in square units. How many squares cover this? Square centimeters cover this thing. So the final answer with the correct units is 20 square centimeters, or centimeters squared. Remember to put those correct units in when they're missing. Okay? They don't always have the units in the problem. Like if they didn't have these centimeters here, you would just put the 20. Sometimes they put square units. So now the perimeter, the formula was 2 times the length plus 2 times the width for a rectangle. So we're going to have 2 times 5 centimeters, the length, plus 2 times the width, 4 centimeters. Now we're multiplying 2 times 5 centimeters, not 2 centimeters times, just 2 times that, so they still come out centimeters, 10 centimeters plus 8 centimeters. Then we're going to add these, not multiplying them, so we don't get square units. We still get just centimeters. It's only when you're multiplying centimeters times that. Here we're just adding centimeters to more centimeters and getting centimeters. So the final answer for perimeter is 18 centimeters. Now let's see what's next is example 2, but before I do example 2, you're going to watch Pythagorean theorem first. I got a short lesson on Pythagorean theorem because we're going to need it for this example. So this is the end of part 1. After part 1, you'll watch the video on Pythagorean theorem. Everything's in order on the website for you, so just go down in order on them.